a lot of times I will make the case, just to make myself feel better. Like, I can enjoy the playoffs as a whole more if the Flyers aren't in it. Yeah. Obviously, I want the Flyers in the playoffs. But there's a lot of times I'm like, you know what? I just get to sit down, enjoy some stress-free hockey, just really, really, enjoy the game without, like, rooting for the Flyers, freaking out about every call, everything, I'm just having a lot of trouble this year. It's 4 straight years the Flyers haven't made the playoffs.
Right.
They haven't really made a run since 2010. Like the 2008 season, they go to the East Final. 2010, obviously, they go to the Cup Final. Like, been to the second round a couple of times since then.
I know.
2020 in the bubble, like, okay. The playoffs started a few months after the season just got
Dude, they should have beaten the
ended.
Islanders, though.
They go 7, and it was... But, like... wasn't real, like that whole thing was just so weird. I just really, really miss Flyers playoff hockey.
Man.
I miss the stress of it. I just like sitting down and like just having that nervous energy for the entire, like every minute, just having that nervous energy because you never know when something's gonna go wrong or when someone's just gonna score that big goal, that series-defining goal, whatever it is. I just am really missing it right now, man. I'm feeling like a little kid with like my face pressed up against the glass. Like I just
No, you're
the playoffs have been good.
You're the Squidward meme. Like you're looking down at SpongeBob and Patrick like playing, and you're just like they're like, oh no.
The games have been good. There've been a few overtime games recently. We're getting, Colorado Dallas is going to be a great series. We're 1-1 going to Denver now. The Rangers Carolina series, it's 3-0, but we've had 2 overtime games. There's been some good stuff going on. We have 1-1, a couple of blowouts, ton of fights in the Boston Florida series. There's good stuff. I'm just like,
I'm with you, man.
Man, I miss the Flyers in the playoffs. It just sucks.
Well, I had this conversation with Cuz, growing up, the Flyers were consistently in the playoffs, dude.
There was never a question of are they going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of changed because back in those days, Flyers were consistently good. The Sixers were consistently mediocre. And you look at it now, people want to talk more about the Sixers. Obviously, Sixers have been good. You have Joel Embiid. But the Flyers, it's just they after you mentioned, pretty much after 2010, they kind of took this slow dip to where we're at now. Where
I guess 2011, they were good all year, fell apart at the end. First series goes 7. It never should have. They were so much better than Buffalo. And then they just give up and quit against Boston in the second round. Trade everyone. 2012, second round, they lose in 5, but at least the first round was so much fun against Pittsburgh.
Hell yeah.
They haven't made a run in 14 years since they've been to a conference final.
These are lifetimes, Bill.
And I'm just no, I think about when I was a kid. 95, they're in the conference final. 97, they go to the cup final. It was 2000, they're in the conference final. 2004, they're in the conference final. Every year they went.
I know.
They went to the second, third round all the time. And now they're 4 years consecutively out of the playoffs, 5 of the last 6. They had the little bit in the early 90s, leading up to the Lindros era where they missed, I think, 5 straight years. I don't really remember that. It's basically been I remember when they missed in 06, 07, it was wow, they missed the playoffs for the first time. And then it was a 16-year string. They only missed that one time. And now it's just status quo. They're not a playoff team. And I'm just feeling it today. Watching some of these games, they're good. And I'm like, God damn it, I want this to be my team.
I know, man. And we talked about it during Wednesday's show. The Flyers can match most of these teams with the physicality, but you know what they're missing, man. And this is what we're hoping Danny and Keith are trying to bring to this team.
I know why they have to do what they're doing.
I know.
And they have to figure out a way to acquire this high-end talent, whether it's in this draft, next year's draft, free agency, trades, whatever it is, they have to figure out a way to do it. They are just simply not ready to win yet. They took a big step this year and still missed the playoffs. And when you look at the contenders, it's even if they made it, there's a huge gap between those couple of teams in the East that are actually good and then the teams that did make it or were battling with the Flyers, like the Penguins that didn't make it, the Islanders that did, the Caps that did. These are bad teams.
I know.
These are not good teams. And there's a huge, like, and they all could have gotten in. It was just like, yeah, someone's going to, but there's a big gap. I get why they're doing what they're doing. They probably need to go further, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. It's just like, God damn, I want to watch Flyers playoff hockey. It was like a given for so long, and now having, even when they make it, it's like, yeah, they play 6 games in the first round and go home every time. Like,
Yeah.
It's just a bummer.
Well, it's funny because this morning on the Cuz show, like the theme was a lot of the coordinators because obviously yesterday Vic and Kellen were talking to everybody. Cuz asked us some of your favorite assistant coaches and all the time. So I went Mike Nikolak because, dude, like imagine being the assistant coach of those Broad Street Bully teams. Like Fred Shiro, God bless his soul. He was awesome, but he was also kind of like introverted. And like that team had so many personalities. And you think about it, like those teams, that's how you start off this franchise.
And Shiro was one of the first guys who introduced assistant coaches. Like that
he was the first full-time assistant.
Yeah, like that was like an innovation of his, kind of, sort of. And so that's a great pick, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's like on runs is where you really get to know those guys. Like, I mean, Jesus, the end of season game against Pittsburgh before that 2012 series, like you're just looking at Craig Berube like, oh my God, he's gonna kill somebody. Like it was ridiculous, and it was like that's just the way it was back. Like Peter Laviolette, my God, we came to love him because of the fire he showed there, the fire he showed. I mean, my God. Calling the timeouts and just getting the guys going. Like, that's when you really get to know the coaches and really get to see what they're made of.
Oh my God, yeah.
We just haven't had it in so freaking long.
I know, man. And now Craig Berube's about to get paid, Bill.
He is, man. Everyone thinks he's going to...
Toronto?
Thinks he's going to Toronto.
Toronto.
It's funny what's going to happen. Like Sheldon Keefe, it doesn't look like he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. That would have been really fun.
That's crazy, man.
I think New Jersey's going to interview him. This whole thing is just really, really fun.
We all silly like the mayor.